Good morning and Jain. In the previous video, we have learned some basic things about the accounting principle. Few things are left, and those things we are going to discuss in this video. So let us start. Three accounting concepts which we have already studied in our previous video were going concern concept, consistency concept, and accrual concept. After these three important concepts, there are few more accounting concepts are there. Let us learn about them one by one. Business entity concept. Business entity concept means that the firm or business is considered as a unique or different or separate identity from its proprietor or the owner. That means the owner and the business. These are two different separate entities in the eyes of law. Okay, we can't consider both of them as same. This is the business entity concept. Money measurement concept. That means uh, all those things, that means all those transactions which can be uh, defined in terms of money should be mentioned in our accounting statements only those things which can be assumed in terms of money or which that have some monetary value can only be uh, written down in our accounting statements, while as there are many more important things which are important for the business, but we can't give the monetary term to those things. Just like if our competitor bring a new product in a market, it will definitely affect our profitability, but we can't give some monetary terms of that. That's why we can't write this instant in our accounting statement. Okay, only those things which we can define in terms of money can be written or should be written in our the accounting statements. Okay, next is accounting period concept. We have already learned that in our previous video that going concern concept gives that our business is everlasting. There is no end period of our business. In that case, how can we calculate, how can we define the profitability of our business? Okay, because everyone whose money is invested in our business wants to know whether our business is growing or not and at what rate it is growing. So for that, the whole life of the business is divided in a small intervals of 1 year, which is known as the accounting period. Okay, of 1 year starting from 1st April to 31st March of the next year. This 1 year period is the accounting period, and it is to be followed by all the firms for preparing their accounts. All the accountants have to prepare or close their accounts on 31st March to calculate the profitability or the financial condition of the firm. Okay, next is cost concept or historical cost concept. Historical cost. Okay, so in this case, it happens that whenever we purchase, suppose we purchase an asset. Okay, if we purchase an asset, to then in that case, at which price we purchase that asset, we have to record in our we have to record the price of the asset on which we have purchased in our accounts, in our books, in our account record in our record. Okay, the historical cost, that means at the price at which we have purchased that asset. It may happen that in the coming future the price of that asset may change. That means we may say that the market price of the asset may change, but we can't we don't write that market price in our accounting books. We have to write the price of the asset at which we have purchased that asset only. That means historical cost. We have to write the historical cost. That means on in history, on the past which we have purchased the asset on that price. Only that price we have to mention in our records, not the current price or market price. And similarly, we have to depreciate the asset year by year. at the particular rate. Okay, and that we have to mention in our records, not about the current or market price. Okay. Dual aspect concept. This concept shows that whenever there is a transaction, always there will be two accounts which will get affected. Two accounts will get affected. Suppose if we buy, just like the previous example, if we buy an asset, okay. So for buying an asset, we have to pay some money. We have to pay some amount to acquire that asset. That means we are paying in cash. Cash is going and asset is coming. Okay, cash is going and asset is coming. In that case, we have to debit the asset and credit the cash. Two accounts: asset account, it may be land, building, any asset may be there. Asset account we have to debit, and cash account we have to credit. That means two accounts are affected by a single transaction. We are just purchasing a asset, and for that we are two accounts are depreciated. And there is one accounting equation given, that is asset equals to liability plus capital. This equation we are going to learn in our uh, maybe next lecture, next video about this in detail. In this, uh, the amount of asset acquired by the firm will always be equals to the amount of liability and capital which it holds. Okay, so I've just said that whenever there is a transaction, two accounts are affected. Here, uh, as as per the accounting equation, cash is going and asset is coming. Okay, so one account is debited and other account is credited with the same transaction. That's a dual aspect, and that's why we used to maintain double bookkeeping, which we will double entry system, which we will study afterwards. Double entry system, that means the same transactions, two entries were done, one by debit and one by the credit. Okay, next is revenue recognition concept. For uh, to conclude how much revenue we have earned or generated, so first we have to find the or recognize the revenue at which moment, at which time we have generated that revenue, at the time of a sale or at the time of getting the cash of that sale. I have just discussed this in the previous video. Okay, in the accrual bill concept, that we always consider the sale at the time of sale, not at the uh, uh, at the at acquiring the cash. Similarly, whenever we make a sale, we consider the sale at the moment when the ownership of the goods are transferred, not at the time of the of getting the cash of or the payment of the of or consideration of that good. Okay, at the time the ownership transferred, at the same moment we will consider the sale of that good, and we will write the sale of a good in our records. Okay, it may happen that maybe in future we will get some consideration of those goods, but we have at the at that moment only, whenever we the sale is done, sale gets over or ownership is transferred, the revenue is recognized at that moment, and we have to enter the recording in our statements. Okay, next is matching concept. Matching concept says that uh, after the recognition of revenue which we have earned, and the amount of expenses or cost which we have incurred in earning that revenue is recognized, then by matching these two, by matching the cost and the revenue, we can finally get the profit which we have earned. Okay, this is the matching concept, that we have to match the cost with the revenue. Okay, this is very simple. Next is objectivity concept. Objectivity concept that shows that whatever we are doing in all the accounting process, it should be free from personal bias. It may personal bias of either of the management or of the accountant who prepares the accounts, but it should be free from that, and it should be supported by the documentary evidences like vouchers, cash memo, okay, sales bills, invoices, etc. These should be there with these are the documentary evidences, and this supports the objectivity concept of the uh, financial statements. Accounting conventions. Okay, what are the conventions? These are the customs or generally accepted practices which is adopted either by the general agreement or common consent among the accountants. Okay, there are three main accounting conventions. First is convention of full disclosure. This says that uh, there should be sufficient disclosure of information which is of material interest to the user of the financial statement. That means uh, every important economic affair when it should be disclosed, should be presented, either it is small or a big. Everything should be presented uh, in your accounting statements. Okay, and these should be used by the either by the proprietor. Proprietor means the owner who is starting the business. Present or potential creditors. Creditors are those people which we have already studied in the previous chapter about the creditors, who are from whom we have purchased something on credit. These are the creditors. Investors and others. Investors are those who are putting their capital in our business. So for them, we have to present each and everything in detail. Okay, obviously these full disclosure may help them to take better decisions. So it is very important for us to present each and everything in detail to them. Full disclosure should be done. Next is convention of materiality. Okay, this convention is completely contradictory to the first one, convention of full disclosure. Full disclosure says that we should mention each and everything, but in convention of materiality, it says that only relevant information should be given. Unrelevant information should not be presented before the users. Okay, only the relevant information should be there. If there is lots of irrelevant information, it should be kept in the one single head. It should not be presented individually. Okay. Next is convention of conservatism. Prudence. It says that uh, we have to be conserved regarding our business. If there's any uh, potential loss or anticipated loss is going to be happen in future, we have to consider that loss. We have to give priority to that loss. We have to record that loss in our accounting statements. But if there is any anticipated profit, that means if we assume that we are going to earn some profit in our near future, we have to ignore that. Okay, we have to ignore any anticipated profit. We will avoid writing that profit in our accounts. This is the accounting convention of conservatism. Conserve, we have to be conserved. We have to consider the losses, but we have to ignore the profits. Okay, and because of this, two conditions may arise. That uh, it may happen that because of doing all this, by following this conservatism convention, it may happen that our PL account may disclose lower profits in comparison to the actual profit. It may happen that uh, it gives lower profits, and at the same time, when we prepare our balance sheet, it may be understatement of assets and overstatements of liabilities may be presented over here. Maybe it is not true, but it will represent in this way only. So and this is not the true condition of the firm. So it should be, this convention should be used very carefully. Okay, so this is all about this chapter, accounting principles. Okay, thank you.